Willie D Live.
Man, how did you get on in the first place as far as like with the movie thing? Like, I know I'm skipping over the comedy, but how did you get on with the movie thing? Like, specifically, I want to know about Money Mike. I want to know how you got that role.
Right. So here's the whole thing. Liars always come up with terrible lies. So Ricky Smiley says, yeah, you know, Katt was supposed to play the Santa Claus and I was supposed to play the pimp. Liars always have ridiculous narratives. Nobody in America can imagine that a real movie studio would cast 5'5", 145-pound Katt Williams as a fucking Santa Claus, number one. Number two, Ricky Smiley was finna play a pimp. Really? Ricky Smiley has played a woman more times than Ricky Smiley has played a man. He's played Bernice Jenkins 5 times. I got it in my contract that I don't work with Ricky Smiley unless he's playing Miss Bernice Jenkins.
Get out of here, man. That's in your contract for real?
I make my contracts, sir.
Oh,
when you're the master of your masters, everything else is subservient. That's why we have control. That's why we're hated, because there's something to hate.
Man, how real was that smack you gave Regina King?
How real was the kick she kicked me? Ask me that.
Was that real? How real was the kick?
She must have kicked me about 50, 60 times. And then it took a break. Oprah was there too.
How close did it get to you?
Man, a lot, because it was like, you know, she had to keep kicking in the, supposed to be the camera angle, but it looked like she was supposed to kick me in my private part, because she kept kicking me in my hamstring or on my thigh. So it looks like, you know, you got it in there. And it was like, try it again.
That looked like a real fight, man.
Yeah, well, it looked like. Now, Tupac and I, we did have a little something, because he was tripping back then. He was a little high, and he was feeling himself. He punched me in the mouth a couple times, didn't want to wear shoulder pads, didn't want to wear knee things. And it was like, yo, you fighting on gravel. He was just getting wild, so.
You punched him off a couple times?
Yeah, dude. That was like, dude.
Did you get any licks in?
Oh, I slammed the shit out of his ass.
Yeah?
I heard his shoulder.
What Pac say when you slam?
Ow! On that ground. Got up. He put that shoulder thing on. I mean, God rest his heart. But yeah, you better go put that stunt shoulder thing on, because it's a pad you're supposed to have. I don't need none of that. Lock it all up. Yeah. We got it. I was like, dude, because you got to time the stuff. He got out into it, and he meant to punch me too. Yeah. Because I was talking about him, because he started being late toward the end of the movie, so I used to just crack on him all the time, talk about it, you know, about his hair falling out, and he fingernails, he's always chewing on his nails. But he was going through that stress thing. We didn't know it at the time. He was going through that. But then later, but I used to always talk about him. I used to tell him he's like a magpie, you know what I'm saying, so sitting over there by himself, you know, because you late, man. I'm joning on you, I'm cracking on you. And Janet and Regina used to be laughing like, he go get you. So he punched me for real. During the fight scene, he plap. I was like, dude, okay.
Now, what kind of excuse would he give you for being late?
You know, I think he was just running out of weed. And the closer we got to Oakland, he was making weed runs. Because we actually drove the whole way. Like, that's a 6-7 hour. Yeah, so, but that we made it the trip, the 12 weeks that we stopped in certain places and filmed. Yeah, okay. So in between, there ain't no weed. So the closest place either going back to L.A. or going to Oakland. So it's either 3 or 2 hours that way. Depends on how further we were on the trip. And you know, that's what it was. He was but I wasn't smoking weed like that then. You know, now that I get it. I was like, yeah, I'd have been like, where my weed at? Somebody go get it.
If I got somebody new, I'm excited about it. Like, you know, I'm trying to figure out how to brilliantly do Tony Soprano, you know, Dennis Rodman, who are 2 new ones that I got. And I love it because whenever I'm on the East Coast, where's, you know, a lot of Italians, you know, whether I'm in Boston, New Jersey, New York, they love it. Go down to Silvio's with Aries. Make a texture with a manigato, with a gravy. Welcome to the Johnny Shack to down for the fucking business. So, you know what I mean? So, it'll give me a chance to flex that muscle. And them Italians love it because, you know, they're Italian, so they know the Sopranos. They know Tony. Yeah. The gabagool with the good gravy with Uncle June. Spam from New York and New Jersey. So, you know what I mean?
They're eating the dogs. They're eating dogs, they're eating cats. It's so bad. They're eating dogs, they're eating cats. I saw the whole thing on TV. They're eating hippos, they're barbecuing parakeets. It's so bad. barbecuing parakeets. Can you believe it? They're eating dogs. And Kamala, she doesn't care about the dogs or the cats. I've never seen this in my life. And they're eating dogs and cats. He went on such a fucking tangent. Kamala was like, I've never seen Kamala look blacker than ever. She was like,
Imagine you get fired from a job. You violently try to take that job back. And then you're the number one candidate for that job. Pete Rose can't even get in the Hall of Fame for fucking gambling. You couldn't, name me another job you could do what he did. If you did what he did and you were accused of 91 felonies and a rape charge and fraud,
Multiple rape charges.
What? You couldn't work at White Castle, damn the White House.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't do what he's doing in any parlance, in any segment of life. You couldn't be a teacher, you couldn't be a police officer, you couldn't be a banker. You could not walk in there with that shit on your resume and keep a job, but you are eligible to be you know that he can't even buy a gun because he has felony charges pending. He can't buy a gun, but he can run for president.
But didn't he just buy a gun? Somebody was saying that he went in to try to buy a gun.
He can't buy a gun.
A Glock.
He said, "Oh, I should get one of these, nigga. You can't. You a fucking you have 91 felony charges pending. You can't buy a gun."
The dude tried to overthrow the government, bro.
And then we're still having an argument
Police
about
officers were killed in the process.
Right.
Like, he should have been charged with murder.
I think so. And
a RICO. That's a RICO charge.
Well, he got one in Georgia. And the thing that's interesting to me is we all saw it. Don't talk to me about law and order. You watch or dress codes in the Congress. You watch this man try to overthrow the will of the American people over and over again in several situations. And now he's going to take an oath to defend the Constitution he shit all over? Stop. He stole America's secrets for what? We know he did it. We see him. You know, yeah, Biden's son is a crackhead, but who don't have a crackhead relative they love? Like, literally. Literally. Who doesn't, like, honestly, who doesn't have a crackhead in their family that they love?
You know, you're absolutely right. I know I got a few.
Of course.
I got a few. But I will say it is rather hilarious to know that a sitting president has a crackhead son.
Absolutely.
That is some funny shit. When it comes to the trolls, for me, especially the trolls, you know, I got a slogan. My slogan is trolls are hoes and they must be exposed, you know. And if I find out what they are, and somebody, if they can be pulled up on,
don't even do it. They not worth it.
Listen what I'm saying, bro. I know they not worth it. I'm gonna remind them that they're not worth it. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna remind them and I'm still gonna go out and live my life and do whatever I got to do. It's not gonna be a hiccup. I'm definitely not gonna allow somebody who is a nothing, you know, to get me off my square. They can't get me off my square if they tried. But they still gonna get
dealt with.
They got to. They gotta be stopped. They must be stopped. How do you deal with trolls?
I don't. It's been so long since somebody triggered a reaction out of me. Because once you respond, 9 times out of 10, the next comment gonna be like, "Oh, I was just fucking with your dog. Wanted you to say something back. Man, I'm a big fan." And then the next thing you see, you go to your notification, they done posted your comment back, "Big love, talking shit with my dog." It's like you validated they bullshit.
That's true. What I typically do with the trolls is I just block them. What I'll do is I'll block them, then talk about them. Because I don't want them to hear their name.
When we first started the 85 South Show, we had this terrible-ass dude used to just come on there and trash all our posts and talk shit to people in the comments. And so we would just used to be like, "Fuck Rodney." Guess what that nigga Instagram name is now?
Fuck Rodney.
Fuck Rodney. The #1 troll in 80. He wears it proudly, man.
Tell you, here's why my Twitter got banned last time. Not my Twitter, my Instagram. That same club here in Houston. This white chick in the back was being loud and she was drunk. She had a black boyfriend. And at one point, she said something about, I wish I could remember the context, but it was something about Yeah, something. I know you like black women, but sometimes we don't want you niggas either. It was a white chick that said this. And she felt because she had a black man that she had that license. Next thing I know, it sounded like rumbling back there. The black women wasn't having it. They wasn't having it coming out of her mouth, and they wasn't having it her talking to me like that. They damn near whooped this bitch ass in the club. They had to get her out of there. And when they removed her, because it was about to be a riot, even her black boyfriend was trying to tell you, shut the fuck up. And she was mad at him for not defending her for saying that. Cut to, she writes me on Instagram and goes, that was uncool what you did. I don't know why you took it like that. And here's what white people sometimes often go to. I grew up around black people. All my friends were black. I grew up in the hood. She told me how, I don't know what is considered the hood out here, but she was naming spots out here. It was the hood. And I grew up with black people. I grew up around them. So, that's why I said that. I could say that. And I went on to cuss this bitch out till no end. And what did she do? And this is what's funny. This is the funny thing about white folks sometimes. You want to act black, want to talk black, want to be black. But when you check them hard enough, then they revert back to doing white shit. So, of course, she reported me. And now my account was suspended. That's the equivalent of crying, this nigga raped me. So you want to fuck niggas. I know you don't like that word. You want to fuck black men. But then when you get checked, now he raped you.
This is a whole funny story. First of all, let's start from the beginning. This is a very interesting story where you can't even write this script the way it happened. You would think I'm making this shit up, but it was true. So we had a white boy host who looked like, one of the ZZ Tops. He had a long beard. He had a plaid shirt on, overall, country boy, funny as fuck. I forget his name, but he was funny, right? So he brings the feature act on, right? Then he goes to the bar, and you've been to the Improv. They got that bar area outside of the Houston Improv, outside the showroom. Mm-hmm. So I guess he's sitting there talking to this black guy, and the black guy tells him, "Nigga, you stupid," right? And he said, he told me, but he come back and tell me, man, I was out at the bar, and this black gentleman told me, N-word, you stupid. I'm assuming that means I'm funny. He said, yeah, when we say you stupid, that means you funny. Mm-hmm. He said, I want to tell that on joke, but I don't know if I say the N-word or not. I said, don't say it. He said, but I don't know if it'd be funny if I don't say the N-word. I said, don't say it. I said, Gary Owen made a whole career off not saying it, but saying it at the same time without saying it. You can find a creative way to say it without saying it.
Right.
I said, if you're going to try it out, not this weekend. You can try it on somebody else's weekend, but I ain't one of them brothers that allow anybody other than black to say nigga, right? So, do the show, this white couple sitting up front, and the girl was really pale, like she was from Twilight. She was pale as hell. So I'm getting on them and whatever. It's all fun and games. After the show, I'm thanking me for coming out. I'm standing by the wall, right by the sound booth, saying thank you, come out, thank you for coming out. And this white boy walks up, he about 6'2", leans over in front of me, don't ever say anything racist to my girlfriend again, you fucking nigger. And I can feel it spit on my face. And I'm left-handed. Bow! Hit him. Step back. He fell into his girlfriend. They fell down the steps. I got a 2-for-1 that day. And then I grabbed some white people. Because I said, dude, you stay. You saw what happened. I need not only witnesses, I need white witnesses. When you black, you need, some white witnesses too to say like, so the manager comes out. He's like, oh, he hit me. And man, what's going on? You're a comedian, hit me. And then the white people and black people like, he called them the N-word. He called them the N-word. Says, no, we didn't. We don't have a racist bone in our body. And she was Thai, I believe, at the time, right? And she goes, well, they said that you did it. And he goes, well, what do you know, you chink? That's what he says. His words, not mine. And she's like, sir, get out of my club. And she escorted him out. As he's getting escorted out, he bumps into another black guy. Called him the nigga. He two-pieced him. Bip, bip. Now he on the ground telling me, why does this keep happening to me? And I'm kind of like shook, like, man, that's the first show. I got another show to do, and you don't know what's going to come of that. Is it going to be a lawsuit? I get banned from comedy clubs? Because I knocked this white boy out. And then I go back to the green room, and the comedian who had the conversation with earlier is like, man, that was crazy. I was like, see what happened when y'all say nigga?
You got to get that fame when fame actually meant something. When you couldn't just jump online and say whatever the fuck you wanted to say to your favorite ghetto boy? Like, what was the biggest change that you had to get used to, going from where you could be famous and anonymous and interact with people as you felt, and now it's just like, now you have to interact with them as they feel?
Not being able to knock a motherfucker the fuck out when they open that mouth. Not being able to walk right up on them when they run that mouth and knock them the fuck out.
So I did 4 months and 18 days.
Yeah. Where were you when they came and got you?
In my living room, in my pajamas, I just fed my baby, was watching Young and Restless.
When it finally went down, were you relieved?
No.
You wasn't relieved?
No.
I never could imagine myself like really being a fugitive,
I mean, I was sort of like on the run for sure. I was nervous about that all the time, but who wants to get caught? Who wants to go to jail?
you don't want
I
to
would have
get
been
caught,
great
but you
to
want-
never go to jail.
You don't want to get caught, but you do want peace.
Well, I
And
got it
when
now.
you out when you running from the police.
Yeah,
and
because
you know
they could have gave me
you know
now.
They coming.
They could have got me now.
Yeah.
In the
right,
middle of my success.
Right.
So, no, I wasn't relieved, though. Fuck that. No. I was mad. I was heartbroken. I had a new baby. I was devastated. I didn't even talk for 2 months. As much as I talked. I remember the jail cell window's only this big, And you look out and stuff. And I stopped looking out the window, too, because you could see people catching the bus,
Living.
see people drinking coffee, see people pushing their strollers. So I didn't even look out the window.
That's
more.
crazy. Because when I was in the county for something similar,
Yeah.
I never looked out the window.
No, you don't want to look out the window. No.
Yeah.
And and I didn't. People said, "Much as you talk, you didn't talk for 2 months." I didn't talk for 2 months unless you were a CO, and I had to answer you. And the ironic thing was, the jail Twin Towers. Do you know jail system in L.A.? They have
I'm not really
okay.
familiar with it.
Before Twin Towers Correctional Facility, where I was incarcerated, was built, there was a raggedy ass jail called Sybil Brand in L.A. Now, Sybil Brand was so raggedy, they built Twin Towers. But in between closing this one and opening this one, the movie The Rock, that was just on TV, that I'm in, filmed inside of Twin Towers Correctional Facility. So now I'm in jail and in a movie that was filmed in that jail. And some of the CEOs knew who I was and were like, "Campbell, what are you doing here?" I'm like, "I don't know. Let me the fuck out." Shit.
Robin Harris, sorry. You're looking at him, and I remember I wore some red shoes to the show. And he talked so bad about my red shoes. I took them motherfuckers off. Red boots with a little 3/4 angle on them.
Right.
I thought I was. I'm like, yo. Woo! And I had an okay set. But when Robin Harris got on that stage and talked about me, looked like I dipped my feet in paint.
You had already done this before when you took over for Robin Harris.
Yeah.
On a big stage, even though, we talking about 300 people, we talking about the Comedy Act Theater.
Yeah, that was
We talking about
the hardest.
Epic Center at that time, the epicenter at that time for comedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a big deal. Like, did you feel any type of, intimidation at all about doing that?
No, when Robin
MCing?
passed, taking over from who? From Robin Harris
Yeah.
or from? No, Robin Harris is our. The year that I knew him, a little over a year that I knew him, I got there in March of '89. He died in March of '90. Took me in. We just clicked right away, man. Bought me my first pair of $100 shoes. Yeah, I wore the shit out of the shoes. He used to come pick me up. What?
When you first met him, you were heckling him, right?
Heckling. I tried to heckle him.
You heckled Robin Harris.
I didn't know who he
one
was.
of the greatest
man.
rank.
No, I didn't know at the
comedians
time.
of all time.
I just got to L.A. I'm the coldest ranking from where I come from. Who was this fat dude? And he was pop, 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 pop. Man, he shot me down, man. Shot me down. I felt like I was this small, like Fred Flintstone, a little seat, and we ran me up out of there, put the light on me, man. And then the whole table was mad because then he started messing with the table. And they were like, we do. It was like, get him out of here. I was like, well, I wouldn't try that. Don't ever try that to get him. So I was like, but then Robin Harris and Ronaldo Ray used to take me around and put me up on stage, the hardest spots in L.A., and then heckle me. And I was like, my mentors, I used to be like, man, why y'all heckling me?
The first time they did it, what was your response?
I didn't know how to take it because I usually talk about people, but I was like, and they were just killing me, both of them, whap, whap, whap. So after about the second, third time they did that, I mean, I lit into both of them. Robin was mad.
You was ready.
Oh, yeah, because I was like, you know what, teacher? I'm hitting back this time. And I got a couple good shots in, and I said some stuff, and Ronaldo laughed because it was, but Robin was mad at me for a while, and he said, no, you did what you're supposed to do. Don't let nobody drive you off that stage. These are ghetto places like in L.A. Yeah. These were no comedy club. This was like juke joint bands, and they doing comedy on Wednesday night. And you got to get in there before that window. You know what I'm saying? They doing a break, so you got 40 minutes to get up there, and Robin's gonna mess around for 10 minutes, and people just want to see the band. It's loud. People going up. I had somebody they throw some change at me. Get off stage. I'm throwing you money. Get off stage. I was like. Hit me in the face with it, dude. Get off. Is that for being funny? No, man. We want the band back. I was like, what the hell?
And you used to always get into it with this guy.
Yeah. Well, he beat me up 3 times. Willie. That's Willie, man. Imagine coming out. He done beat you up. You know what I mean? And like I said, the little boots. The first one was real quick. He threw me. He ran and threw me over a truck. Like I said, I heard a noise. I ain't never heard a noise like that, and I don't know what kind of noise it was, but whatever. And I was just looking, and my foot was passing up the hood ornament of a truck. And I'm like, "Did the fucker just throw me?" And I landed in between the truck and the car, and I seen them little boots, click, 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 coming around. And I was commissioned, man. I take out my gun, and I said, "Hey, that's enough, bro. That's enough." He's yeah. Like, yeah. Like, and he was a regular. I've known him. Like, he would go there for like a year or two. Like, you know what I mean? And then I walk out the owner 6 months later, and I was kind of taken out because that's when I started working out. Really, like, I can't do that. I wanted to learn all those moves. And 6 months later, man, I done been through some stuff. Every weekend there's some stuff.
Thought you was ready for it.
Yeah, I thought I was ready for everybody, dude. Man, that dude.
What happened the second time?
I walked out the owners. It was about 3 o'clock, 3:05. And then I just hear, hey. Now, this is by Sharpstown. There's a Whataburger back there, and it's a strip center, so it's a big parking lot. The whole parking lot is empty. I could have used my periphery. I could have just glanced, and I didn't because, there was some, what do you call them, some billiards, whatever. He was parked like this, and the owner car was over here, so I didn't even pay attention. It's real quiet and stuff. We didn't hear nothing. The owner, I was thinking about it. I remember the owner looking like that, and I didn't even look. You know what I mean? I didn't even, no, you're good. So they went home, and that's when he goes, hey. And I look, and he's sitting there leaning against his truck with a beer. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, man. This dude's thugging, hey. I'm like, you want otra vez? You want another shot? I'm like, yeah. Man, that dude.
So you saying that
Will Smith did it wrong. Well, you
wouldn't have accepted the slap. That's what you said.
Nigga, please. First of all, ain't no man gonna walk up on me. You feel me? Ain't no man walking up on me and saying things anyway. You feel me?
But okay. Let's be realistic here.
Mm-hmm.
A man could temporarily lose his mind and walk up to you and say something reckless. You can't control that.
Yeah, you can't control that.
What you do after
But he walked up to him and hit him and then said, see, that he don't got that ghetto in him. Will ain't got that ghetto in him. You supposed to say it while you hitting the motherfucker. Keep my motherfucker right out your mouth. And he hit the motherfucker. He didn't even, his ear was still ringing. He didn't hear nothing he said. He just said nominees. You gotta let him know before.
How often did you fight in the neighborhood when you growing up?
In my neighborhood?
Yeah.
That's funny. because we didn't fight. We really didn't fight. I didn't fight. I used my comedic skills to get out of these altercations. I mean, that's true. It sounds funny, but this is a true story. I remember the dudes had me down, and I said something funny. My mama got chicken or something. And they said, "What'd he say?" And they just did what you did. They started laughing, and I ran. And I learned that mechanism. I remember I was in front of Tolan's liquor store, and the dudes from 6'9" had me down, and I used that mechanism. And that's a true story. And I remember that distinctly. I was in Catholic school. They had me down. I said, "My mama got some chicken cooking or something." Like, they were, "What'd he say?" And I got out of there.
David said that he would not have kneeled on George Floyd's neck. He would have shot that nigga. For context, he was trying to get a black heckler off of him. And the black heckler, and I got to say this, the black heckler was very irritating. So me understanding comedy the way I understand comedy, I know you had to go in and try to eviscerate him. I get it.
Yes.
So you told him that you're trying to, you're showing why these white folks, these good white folks, why George Floyd got a knee on his neck.
Right.
Now, you would have been cool right there. Perhaps, depending on how you look at it. You could have counted your losses or you could have counted your wins.
Okay.
But you took it a step further, and the crowd was, at that point, the crowd was audibly shook. But you took it a step further, and you said that you would never have kneeled on George Floyd's neck. You would have shot that nigga. You've had a week or so to think about what you said. Do you still feel the same way as far as the joke, upholding the joke and being defiant and unapologetic about it?
I'm an advocate for free speech, right?
Okay.
The great Patrice O'Neal said that a funny joke and a bad joke come from the same place. So that was my attempt at comedy.
Explain that.
It was to get shock value. I'm a troll. You heckle me, now I heckle you. I talked to George Floyd's brother.
When?
Sunday. Trey, you know Trey?
Yeah.
Trey the Truth?
Yeah.
I think he said he's George Floyd's brother or cousin or something.
I'm not sure what the relationship is, but I know Trey. Shouts out to Trey.
Trey the Truth.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, Trey, if I upset you personally, because that's your relative, I apologize. But I don't apologize for doing a joke. Who are we as the gatekeepers to say when a joke goes too far? I joke about beating on white women. I joke about killing white women. I joke about gay people. I joke about the transsexual community. So the moment I apologize for a George Floyd joke, now I gotta apologize for every other joke. So who in this situation is the gatekeeper to tell me you went too far or you didn't go far enough? Is it because I'm not famous? If Dave Chappelle would have said that joke, what would have happened? He might would have been a little wittier because he's been doing comedy longer than me, but it's all in the name of laughter, all in the name of free speech. And a lot of people say, you're pandering, you're doing this, you're doing that. How? Because I said a joke about a black guy in front of a majority white audience. Majority of my fan base is white. That's no secret. Black people, for some reason, have never liked my comedy because I'm different. And I don't go up there and talk about big dick, little dick, big pussy, big ass jokes. Those are not my jokes. My jokes are very cerebral. So if you come to my show, I might say a lot of crazy shit, but on your drive home, you're going to be thinking a lot.
Shout out to Jay Prince too, man. You know, people be trying to say a lot of stuff about him, but you know, I think he a cool dude. I listened to his book. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I had it's a long drive. I had long drives. I turned it on. I discovered like on YouTube. So I just listened to it. But you know what I mean? The only thing about it is like you could tell how much respect he got because he never raised his voice. It was a real monotone,
right, cool,
like I'm listening to the book and it's like, yeah, so
in 1987, I decided that I'm just like, damn,
you got
bro.
to slow it down a little bit more. Hold on, this is Jay right here. So in 1987, I made my mind up that I'd have to do something different. So I reached out to Willie D. He got on board. Then I signed Scarface, and I knew I had a formidable team right there.
Yeah.
But then we brought in Bushwick.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, man.
I already had Ready Red.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So yeah, man, it was beautiful.
I think Jay Prince needs to move into some other things.
He already moving into some other things.
No, man, we need to talk, man, because I want Jay Prince. Jay Prince need to have a talk show, like a game show, like Steve Harvey. You imagine? You imagine?
Paint the picture.
Yeah, you imagine Jay Prince on, Family Feud. Okay, now the top 5 answers is on the board. We asked 100 men and women, name an animal that starts with the letter P. Man, that damn game show be 3 hours long.
He wear those big old wide belts with the metal holes
My
in it.
granddaddy had the coaching shorts that had the 2 buttons that snapped that was up here.
Uh-huh.
He had coaching stuff on, bro. And when he would wear his suits, he had his little church suits. He was a deacon. And I mean, bro, I'm thankful for my experiences. Like, my granddaddy did not play, bro. He just did not play. Like, we went to church. Like, he cussed me and my cousin out when we was down there in the summertime. I think it was like 11, almost going on 12 at this point. We went to the pool. We got out the pool. We got our lotion. You know what I'm saying? We going to the skating rink because that's where the girls at. I'm looking at the Jet Beauty of the Week. That's what we did. You know what I'm saying? Flip through the Jet magazine. You know, people would keep the Jet magazines all stacked up on top of the toilet. You know, you got something to read. Well, my cousin, he goes through the Jets. He opens all of them up to the Beauty of the Week. And he looking at, look at this one, look at this one, look at this one. We leave out of there. All my granddaddy see is baby oil, lotion, and all the Jet magazines spread out across the bathroom. We come out the skating ring. We in the car. He done snapped on us in the goddamn car. Hey, man. Hey, first of all, he in the mirror of a mirror. If you ain't never had a cussing out in a rear view mirror of a car, that's the most traumatic experience because all you can see is this part of their face. Hey, man, I raised y'all to be good Christian men. Y'all ain't gonna be raping yourself in my goddamn house, man. Y'all ain't gonna be raping yourself. I raised y'all to be good men. Y'all ain't here raping y'all goddamn self. The devil is busy in your life. Both of you gay. You little slick-head bastard. You and your cousin, both y'all gay. I said, I'm not gay. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you is. You're raping yourself. It's a man's hand. If you're jacking off, it's a man's hand. You're gay. I said, what? See, that's how the devil get your mind all thrown off. You're jacking your dick. It's a man's hand. Nigga, I traumatized.
What is your beef with Queen Elizabeth, man? I mean, you seem like you
saw that shit?
Show, man, and you just seem to have a particular disdain for the Queen.
Listen, okay. So you were there for that one. Hear the Queen, yeah. Because I remember we would always watch on TV, the Queen is coming to America. Oh, God, it's the Queen. Oh. You remember how people would meet the Queen, Michael Jackson, all the big people would meet the Queen, and they had to shake her hand. Hello, everyone. I'm the Queen. I'm a cunt. Did you know that? I'm a fucking cunt. But when you read about her, when you start to go, let me see what's up with this royal family shit. I was talking about the Meghan Markle shit because I believe Meghan Markle hustled her way. She hustled him. I don't think she loves Prince Harry personally. I said it on my podcast, In Godfrey We Trust, by the way. I said, no. Which
is very good podcast.
Thank you very much. You've been on it, and I appreciate.
Very good podcast.
Thank you. I thank you for being on it. And I was like, I think that the queen is full of shit. And I think that whole royal family thing is a little corny now. Why are they still a royal family? Why are they still dressed like doormen and shit with their little, all that shit? Anyway, so I find out she ruled for 70 years. She died at 96. She was a queen at 26 years old. Ruled for 70 years.
No, she didn't die in 96.
No, she died at 96.
Oh, yeah, you said she died in 96.
At 96.
Yeah, right.
And she, they colonized all of like the Caribbean. They colonized Nigeria. Mm-hmm. They colonized India. The British Empire ruled and colonized a lot of shit and stole a lot of shit. The crown she's wearing is all stolen shit from India and Africa. All that golden carrot, all stolen. Everything's been stolen. The museums in England are all stolen African artifacts, everything. And a lot of countries are asking for their shit back. And she was the one, and it really pissed me off when I found out she was the one that signed for the apartheid to happen. So I was like, fuck her. I just like, fuck that bitch. You know what I mean? I just thought she would, and even with Princess Diana, I was like, I think somebody did some foul play to her because they didn't like her. And she had interviews where she was like, they don't like me. I don't think they like me. Because, Princess Di loved all kinds of people. She shook hands with brown people, everybody loved Princess Diana. And her son, she raised pretty good, I think. And I just thought that whole royal family shit's overrated. Yeah. Because we always remember in America we have to watch some special shit when they get married. We have to be like ta special report NBC. The royal family are getting married. Yeah. And whenever their kids were born, we had to see these spoiled little white kids. There's so many white kids in America being born. It's just that these white kids have British accents. Mommy, Daddy, Mommy, Daddy. He's the heir to the throne. Fuck that kid.
Willie D Live.